Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. We're here today with part 2 of our Cabral House Calls. Hopefully, you were able to join us yesterday. We had so many great questions come in. If you weren't able to tune into the show, that was episode 1828. So you can just head on over to stephencabral.com/1828, and you'll see that we spoke about vitamin D, zinc, certain other immune boosters that might be able to be used for the virus. I know we talked a little bit about what to do if you have to get the vaccination or choose to get the vaccination as well, because I know that we have some people who want to get it, some people who don't, some people that have to get it, and I just give you a couple tips there as well. And then what else did we speak about? We spoke about vegan omega-3s. We talked about lymph nodes. All sorts of great questions came in. So looking forward to being able to answer more of those questions here today as well. And this is episode 1829. That's stephencabral.com/1829. Sorry, just a couple more I want to give you from yesterday as well. Do the new LED lights damage your eyes? You definitely want to check that out. What to do for eye inflammation in general. Talking about... The last one was also niacin flush, being able to do that with a sauna. So definitely check that out. That was episode 1828. And what we will do is we'll get to about another half dozen of your questions on today's show. Again, always excited to be able to see what's come in. I just opened the document. That's why I was fumbling around there for a little bit. Just opening the document, not just trying to commit all of the questions to memory. And so today, just open it up and I see that the first question is from Cindy. So Cindy's question is, I'm recovering from COVID. It's been 6 weeks. I'm having lingering respiratory issues, trouble getting my energy back. Would you have any suggestions? I take vitamin D, zinc, and immune boosters. Protein shakes. I've read that COVID can leave information in the body. What's your thoughts? And I think that you meant probably inflammation rather than information. My spell correction does stuff like that all the time. So, Cindy, it's a great question. It really is. Now, the media likes to make it seem like this is going to happen for the rest of your life and that this happens to the majority of the people. It doesn't. The vast majority of the people that this happens to, it's like this post-viral inflammatory syndrome is what we're calling it. It happens to people mainly that have been hospitalized, that have gotten quite bad symptoms with COVID. But I'll give you this. I did a whole podcast on this, and I tell you exactly how it happens, why it's not unique just to this particular virus, why it's actually common with Epstein-Barr virus, with shingles, with what's the other one, Lyme disease. So check these out. That's episode 1776. So stephencabral.com/1776. Usually I give like 3 minutes of an answer for each question, but I'll tell you this is a 20-minute answer, and it really helps you figure out how to recover at a faster rate. Now, again, I'm a firm believer that I did have it in January. I had all the symptoms. You know, this is just before the mainstream virus hit, but I had the loss of taste, the loss, and that was for 3 weeks, the loss of sense of smell, a couple weeks, and I had 3 days of a quite high fever, well over 102 degrees. And again, it does a number on the body, right? It's very exhausting for your body to have to deal with that, but it does, and it can recover, and you can help it. You can help yourself recover from it faster as well. All that on episode 1776. All right, Christine's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. For the past month or two, I've been occasionally tasting a strange taste in my mouth. The best way I can describe it is almost like baking soda. It's not overwhelming and it comes and goes. Water could taste strange, but everything else tastes normal. I take some daily supplements, magnesium glycinate, mega food, Blood Builder, Evening Primrose, Vitamin D, and Vegan Omega-3. I'm 38-year-old plant-based vegan who works out 4 days a week. I haven't had blood work done in over a year, but last workup showed low iron and D. I do suffer from health anxiety, so something like this could cause me to get into a spiral of self-diagnosis. Any insight would be greatly appreciated. Christine, thank you for the question. I want to see if I can help you with this. What I would say is this. Really good that you wrote down the supplements you're taking, because I'm obviously I know all these different supplements that you're talking about. And although the Mega Food Blood Builder can be a great one for many people, what happens is if you've been using it for a while, you could have replaced your iron stores, and now you might be getting too high in iron. So if you're taking 2 a day, you might only need 1 a day now. So I don't know. Again, like I can't give you medical advice. I can't prescribe. I can't treat. I can't diagnose. But what I could tell you is that oftentimes when we start to get that metallic-y or baking soda taste or something like that, it can oftentimes be from a mineral imbalance. Too much copper, too much selenium sometimes even, too much iron. So you'll want to run your blood work. I think that's important to do that. And of course, you can run your zinc and copper with our minerals and metals test or our heavy metal test as well. So certainly you can check that out. Oftentimes when people have halitosis, bad breath, bad taste in their mouth, that's more like weak, slow digestion, low stomach acid, which we just talked about on the show on what, Tuesday? Let me just check. I believe it was Tuesday. Let's see. It was episode 1824. Yes, Tuesday's show. So you can check that out for sure. But it can also be bacterial overgrowth in the gut. So bacterial overgrowth in the gut can also cause those bad taste in the mouth too. But it sounds like more of yours is more like a metal taste, and that's why I'm going towards one of your heavy metals could be elevated or minerals could be imbalanced. Jenna is up next. I have a swollen or shot T lymph node on the side of my neck since I was a child. So about the last 20 years. I developed another one on my neck about 4 years ago. That hasn't gone back to its normal size. I can feel them under my finger and they move around. I push on them. My PCP says this is completely normal and nothing to worry about. Can you tell me why a lymph node would stay enlarged like this for 20 years? Is there anything specific I should be doing to get this to go away, or do you think it's permanent? All right. It's a good question. An asymmetric lymph node that is swollen in your neck should always be checked further. It is normal for both lymph nodes to be swollen when there is sinus congestion or an infection, because this flows down. So if you're watching this on video, you're seeing me give a little demonstration right now. Again, you can watch this on YouTube, this podcast, or just right at stevencabral.com /1829. But basically, as your face drains down, it's going to go through these lymph nodes, your lymph. And so basically, your lymphatic system is almost like, think about it like the arteries, veins in your body, but they travel through cleaning centers. And as they travel through these cleaning centers, we'll call them the nodes begin to use the white blood cells to start to catch those pathogens and break them down. So what happens is, like your tonsils or your lymph nodes near your near your corner of your jaw right here can become enlarged. Now, as a child, sometimes they don't go down. Now they can, but they don't go down because the body has trapped those pathogens there, and you get, which is called, I believe, lymphoadenopathy. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but swollen lymph nodes is the same thing. And so you'll certainly want to look at that. But when it's asymmetrical, that's not normal. I want you to have that checked out by a medical doctor for sure. But I would say that if your lymphocytes are normal, that your white blood cells are normal, so hopefully you run your blood work every year. If you haven't, you should definitely do that. And that your platelets are normal, then most likely, then everything could be normal. But again, I can't give you a diagnosis. Only a medical doctor could do that. But I don't like the asymmetry, that's for sure. Now, let's forget about all that. Say everything's good. Well, you very well could have sinus fungal overgrowth, sinus bacterial overgrowth, not enough to be at an infection stage, but I would certainly look to what's going on in your sinuses. And you might need to do something like the CBO protocol along with the neti pot with a few drops of citruscytal in there to clean those nasal passages every day. So You have to look more into this for sure, but that's at least a place to get started. All right, Megan's up next. Megan says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've tried searching, but I couldn't find any shows previously on this topic. I have a friend who, when he drinks too much, he gets a severe skin rash on his face, throat, and then body, and becomes unwell. It seems to be exasperated with wine and champagne. Do you think it is likely that it is a preservative in the alcohol that this causes, and it is an indication of something else going on in the body, or just allergic reaction to this preservative? Is there anything he can do to minimize the reaction if he does want to drink at social events? Many thanks." All right, I know exactly what's going on here, most likely. Again, I can't tell you for sure, but I've worked with so many people with, gut-based issues and immune imbalances that this is quite common for me to see. So what I would say is if it's alcohol in general, we're probably looking at a histamine-based reaction. Remember, anything aged, anything fermented, anything dried spice, it's aged, fermented, and why am I forgetting the last one? And smoked. All right, there we go. Aged, fermented, and smoked. So very likely could be a histamine issue. Now, I know this myself because if there is someone that is predisposed to histamines for sure, it's me. I have all the genetic components for it. I've had allergies since I was a very young child. Not ideal. Now, the good news is I don't have these histamine reactions anymore if I were to have a glass of wine or if I were to have some spices or anything like that. So here's the thing. Histamine reaction can cause these skin rashes, especially with wine, especially with red wine. Or if you were to have a smoked tequila, then it really could come on strong. So it's funny, but since we've been doing this for quite a long time, a lot of people that have histamine issues, they're like, well, which should I have then? And so I typically say you can try something like an agave tequila that is not a smoked or aged one. So for example, again, I'm not giving you alcohol recommendations, but I know that people are going to drink anyways. So I just want to give you the recommendations. So a Patron Silver. It says silver because it's actually not aged and it's used in metal. What do you call those things? Casks? Whatever the alcohol ferments in and ages in. It's usually oak or something like that. That's where you get that flavor and the color from for the tequila. It becomes more yellowish. Well, the Patron Silver is clear, and that's because it's not picking up any of the other oak or the wood that it would be aged in. And then I know they make a tequila that has like a smoky essence to it, and that would be really bad for people with histamine issues because now you're getting aged, you're getting smoked, and alcohol is fermented. So that's like the triple whammy for anybody with histamine issues. So don't do that. It would be like having, let's say, salami or like processed meats along with that tequila. It's like aged. Well, I guess not quite fermented, but smoked. Not good. So that's that. And the other thing it could be, if it's mainly wine and not other like spirits, it could be the sulfates and sulfites inside of the wine, and that's greatest too in the red wine. So hopefully, Jenna, that helps. And then, of course, if there's histamine issues, you want to do what I did, which is rebalance your gut. You want to look at the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and ideally the parasite and bacteria stool test and the food sensitivity test as well. You want to be assured that you don't have parasites or H. pylori or Candida overgrowth or SIBO. I happen to have SIBO, Candida overgrowth, and H. pylori. So I had 3 out of the 4. And I had to go about rebalancing those and then sealing up my gut wall, and eventually my immune system after a bit became much more balanced. And so I'll always be predisposed to histamine issues. However, I can have histamine foods now, and as long as I don't fill up my rain barrel, I'm totally fine. So hopefully that answer was helpful. And then, of course, you can use an enzyme in the meantime as well that works to a small degree. It's called, it works, but to a small degree. It's called, DAO is the name of the enzyme. It's hard to find, but you'll be able to find it, DAO, diamine oxidase. All right, Megan's up next. And then, Jenna, just tell your friend to check out my previous podcast on histamines. Lots and lots of shows on them. All right, Megan's up. Nope, I just answered Megan's question. Oh, another Megan, this time without the H, Megan. Hi, Dr. Cabral, 14-month-old who is here today thanks to your protocols. Oh, my great. Happy to hear that. That's great. Having a hard time since starting daycare. He's suffering with respiratory issues, including multiple bouts of tonsillitis, which were really severe, much to my heartache. Had to put him on antibiotics twice to get him better, but obviously you know firsthand the impact of antibiotics in the long term on your gut health. I currently have him on your children's immune protocol at a reduced dosage per his body weight, investigating mold in our house, removed gluten and dairy, have him on probiotic omega-3s, tried to book in to see one of your health coaches for an immunity call, but they said they weren't available to assist because of his age. Oh, because he's 14 months old. Okay. Now, I understand and respect you cannot give recommendations specifically over a podcast, but I don't want to just wait until next time and face antibiotics again. So my question is, if this was one of your girls, what would you do to support them to get to the root cause of why this is happening while he is so little? In the meantime, treat it naturally if it reappears. Is there a throat spray for your child this young? Would really love some support, and I don't know where to turn. Thank you so much in advance. Would love to hear your thoughts. Megan, I'm happy to help. I'll always give an answer. I always just have to state, though, this is not medical advice. I can't provide a diagnosis, treatment, or cure. What I'm just trying to share with you is things that you might look into. That's all. So, 14 months old, does not have innate immunity typically yet. I shouldn't say innate immunity. Has innate immunity, but still, if you are 14 months, if you're still breastfeeding your child, they're going to get your immunoglobulins. If you're not doing that, I understand. The omega-3s is a good idea, just a little bit, but also the probiotics, because it sounds like there might be a gut issue and we need to definitely improve that gut. Let's make sure that the typical cow's milk and gluten and maybe even eggs we're staying away from right now, because those are the most common food sensitivities in all humans. And if you needed to do some dairy, sheep and goat are a much better choice. And then, of course, there's so many gluten alternatives, right? You could just use rice if you chose to, totally up to you. Again, you don't have to use grains. And then eggs, if you do that, just once or twice a week maximum. Because then, again, you don't know and you don't really want to test this young. What else could I give you for recommendations? You are always able to do a propolis kid spray in the back of the throat, and you could even do just a little bit of colloidal silver if you chose to. What else? It sounds like you're overall on the right plan. 14 months old, still just a little young, right? To be able to do some vitamin C or vitamin C gummies or some elderberry in there as well. Just still very young. But what we used to do for my daughters when they were 14 months old is we would have the medicine squirters, something that you would get with what would they sell it with? Maybe like an acetaminophen or something like that. And, instead of using that, you actually just squirt up your own concoction of a little bit of liquid vitamin C, maybe a little bit of liquid zinc, a little bit of, a little bit of elderberry if you chose to. And then you can actually squirt that in the back of the mouth and it would coat the tonsils. So you can always try that if you feel like it's the best fit for you as well. And they make children's echinacea as well. Children's echinacea by... many companies make it, so I don't have to play favorites. That's a great one as well. So you can just check out my natural antiviral protocol for children. I have a whole podcast on that. If you ever can't find a podcast, you can also just write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. Totally free Facebook group, and we're here to help and help you find those previous podcasts as well. Megan, best of luck. I'm sure you'll do great. And just remember, kids are resilient. They'll age naturally, but once they get to 2-3 years old, we can certainly do a lot more. All right, Megan's up. Maybe another Megan. Maybe it could be the same Megan. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I know you have done a tongue analysis episode, but it wasn't quite enough information for what I was looking for. I have scalloping of the tongue and little blister-like bubbles at the back of my tongue. From what I can understand, scalloping represents malabsorption. I'm currently taking a digestive enzyme with my meals and taking a healthy gut support substitute and probiotic. What else can I do to help my body? In regards to the little blisters, I think that represents the intestines. I do the intestinal cleanse protocol, which well and truly cleaned me out, but the bumps are still there, and I'm wondering what else I can do because my body is obviously inflamed, showing this through my tongue. Thanks so much. Yeah, Megan, you're right on point. You're on point. Yeah, absolutely. And for anybody that hasn't listened to the tongue diagnosis show, let's use that in air quotes, I would definitely go check that out because you can learn so much from it. So the scalping is typically malabsorption, like you just said, or digestive distress. I would go and I would listen to, because Megan, it sounds like you might have an issue with this that I talked about on episode 1824, which is having too little stomach acid. So you might be inflamed because there's a lot of putrefied food coming into your intestines because it's not properly first being broken down by your stomach. So certainly I would look at that. I would look at, so that's betaine HCl, digestive bitters, digestive enzymes. I would look at the CBO protocol. But even before that, honestly, if you haven't run some of the digestive health labs, I would do that. What if you have candida overgrowth? What if you have H. pylori? That's why you can't, build up enough stomach acid. What if you have parasites? So I would simply run those 3 digestive health tests, which is the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, the bacteria and parasite stool test, and the IgG food sensitivity test. All of those are available at Equilife. That's EQUI.LIFE. No .com in there. And that's going to tell you, because again, right now, like you and I are just guessing as to why your colon, large intestine might be inflamed. And why you have poor digestion or slower malabsorption, lower digestion. And so we can only guess. But the nice thing is these at-home lab tests, they give you confirmation. Great question. And well, that is our time for today. And we've answered 6 questions. So we're going to keep it at that. And again, if you asked a question on 12/22 or before, your question has now been answered. Mike will be our first question coming up next week. And that will be from December 23rd going forward, typically about 6 weeks behind on the Ask Cabral. Hope you've had an amazing weekend. As always, if this show is helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. And don't forget to tune into tomorrow's Mindset and Motivation Monday. Talk with you then. Thank you so much for tuning into the Cabral Concept today, and I'm glad you made it to the end of the show because I have a big announcement. Over at Equilife, we are formulating and have formulated a brand new line of products. These are products going to be underneath the Zeldaberry name. That is a trademarked product line of ours, and that is because we are taking scientifically proven zinc along with elderberry, fusing them together for a brand new product, clinically proven to help that immune system. So right now, we would love for you to be able to check out those products. And because this is a field that I love so much, and I only formulate products that I know are going to be helpful for people, that we are giving our brand new products away. So we're starting with the Zeldaberry lozenges. So right now, all orders over $129 get this product completely free. This is a $30 product. And that is because you're getting a full day's worth of zinc. Now, this is a 25 milligram zinc lozenge with, though, the clinically proven elderberry added to it. So you get a delicious lozenge. You can take it any time of the day. I typically take one a day, and I take it after a meal, whether it be lunch or dinner. And this is also, though, in addition to my daily nutritional support that I take and my balanced zinc, which is part of my immunity protocol. So you might say, why take all of these things? Well, if you add up the daily nutritional support, about 12 grams of zinc, you add up the balanced zinc, that's 15 grams of zinc, it's about, 27 there. I'm getting 25 more to equal 50 milligrams of zinc, and that's what I'm doing during this viral-based season. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Now you get a full zinc product along with elderberry, which has been clinically proven to help with certain viruses. So again, that's why I'm so excited about this, because the science backs it up. It's a great new product, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. So the truth is, whenever possible, I try to give it away for free. I try to get you these products if I can. We gave away a free bottle of vitamin D just a couple weeks ago, and right now you are getting this product completely free, $30 value on all purchases over $129. Check it out right now at EQUI.LIFE. That's EQUI.LIFE. That is our Equilife brand. Take care, everyone. Let me know how you enjoyed them.